The conference room was filled with tension. Maps were spread across the long oak table, and the air smelled faintly of burnt coffee and leather boots. Officers in crisp uniforms leaned back in their chairs, arms folded, eyes narrowed. Colonel Harris tapped the table with his finger. His voice cut through the silence. Why is she even here? She's just an actress. A face for the cameras. Nothing more. Every head turned toward her. Claire Stone sat upright, hands steady on her lap, though her heartbeat hammered in her chest. Her reputation wasn't built in these rooms. It was forged in places no camera crew had ever dared to go. Yet no one here knew the truth. Her jaw tightened. She said nothing. The colonel smirked, his tone sharp. Do you think Hollywood prepares you for this? Do you think playing a soldier makes you one? His words dripped with disdain. The younger officers chuckled under their breath. A whisper darted across the room. She's here for publicity. A showpiece. The insult stung, but Claire remained silent. Years of discipline pressed her lips shut. She could hear the echo of desert winds, the rattle of distant gunfire, the screams she carried in memory. If only they knew. The general cleared his throat. Colonel Harris, enough. She was invited here for a reason. But the colonel leaned back in his chair, smiling with the arrogance of someone certain he was right. Then prove it, he said. Show us what makes her different from any other actress. A hush fell over the room. Claire's eyes locked with his. For a moment, her calm gaze unsettled him. She didn't flinch. She didn't lower her head. The weight of her silence said more than words. But in her chest, she knew this battle wasn't about words. Proof would come, but not yet. The colonel didn't know what was hidden in the classified archives. He didn't know that the truth had already been recorded. And soon, the footage would surface. Her pulse quickened. Would they believe their own eyes? The lights in the conference room dimmed as the general prepared to open a secure file. The projector hummed, casting a pale glow against the wall. Every officer leaned forward, unaware that what they were about to see would change everything they thought they knew. Claire exhaled slowly, her fingers curling into fists beneath the table. Her secret was no longer hers alone. The colonel's smug grin faded as the first frame flickered on screen. The projector clicked. A black screen filled the wall. White letters flashed. Classified. 214 Zulu. Location redacted. Green night vision washed over a narrow alley. Wind pushed grit along the ground. The camera shook with breath. You could hear it. Slow. Controlled. The mic picked up a faint whisper. Vega, check in. Vega up, a woman answered. Claire's voice. Calm. Flat. Focused. A hand rose in the frame. 2 fingers. Advance. The team moved. Boots kissed stone. No wasted steps. Each footfall was a quiet drumbeat. You could almost feel the dust settle on your tongue. Colonel Harris leaned forward in his chair. No one spoke. The room watched. Hold, Claire whispered. A pause. No engine noise. No dogs. No chatter. Only the wind. The silence had weight. It pressed against the camera. It seemed to press against your chest too. She pointed to a doorway. A red scarf hung on a nail. She whispered again. Trip line. Look low. A gloved hand found a thin wire at ankle height. The operator breathed out. The camera caught Claire's eyes in the dark. Cold light. No fear. Good catch, Captain Rourke said on comms. Lucky, Claire said. We keep moving. They slipped through a courtyard. A broken pump clicked and clicked. Moonlight cut a pale path across cracked tiles. A cat darted away. The team froze, then flowed on. They were hunting for a hostage. A field doctor. Taken 2 nights ago. Intel said he was inside a 3-story block, south stairwell, basement cell. Vega, we are short on time, Rourke said. Convoy rolls in 14. Copy, Claire said. A child's bicycle lay on its side near a cistern. Its front wheel spun. Soft. Slow. Claire watched it, then watched the roof lines. Somewhere, metal scraped on metal. She signed with her fist. Up. Watch the windows. They reached a steel door. 2 hinges. 1 padlock. Claire touched her neck. A tiny vial hung there. She dabbed oil on the lock. The smell was sharp and clean. She steadied her hands. They did not tremble. She slid a pick into the keyway. The click was small and sweet. "On your breath," she whispered. The team breathed in. Held. She turned the pick. The lock gave. She caught it in her palm so it would not fall. No sound at all. Inside, the air changed. Cooler. Damp. The camera showed a long corridor. Plaster peeled in strips. A fluorescent bulb flickered. The mic picked up water, somewhere. A drip like a metronome. Footsteps above. Heavy. Then silence again. Claire counted doors. 1, 2, 3. At the fourth, she stopped. She closed her eyes. She listened. A thin sound threaded through the wall. Not words. A breath. Hurt and ragged. "He is in there," she said. "How do you know?" an operator asked, barely a whisper. "Listen to the air. It pulls at the crack," Claire said. She knelt. She pressed her ear to the splintered frame. The camera moved closer. You could hear it too. A faint draw-in. A slower fallout. She nodded once. "Breach on 1, she said. Rourke cut in. "Vega, you are not on the roster as point." "I am point now." "Negative." "Captain, we do not have time." A pause on the net. Dry. Tense. The kind that burns seconds you cannot spare. "Do it," Rourke said. Claire lifted a small charge. A paper packet with a thin wire tail. She set it against the hinges. Her hands were quick and sure. She mouthed the count. 3, 2, 1. A cough of light. No roar. Only a breath of smoke. The door sagged. The team flowed in. The smell hit first. Old blood. Disinfectant. Rust. The camera found a man on the floor. Zip ties bit his wrists. His mouth was taped. His left eye was swollen shut. He tried to curl away from the light. "Doc Ahmed," Claire said. "We have you." He fought the tape. Small sounds. Animal sounds. She cut his bonds and pressed 2 fingers to his neck. Pulse. Weak. There was relief in her breath, but no time for it to grow. Movement on the roof. Someone hissed. Rourke again. "Vega, get him out. You have teams inbound from west and north." "Copy. North stairwell is a kill box. We take the cistern route. Cistern route is unknown. It is better than certain death." She slung the doctor's arm over her shoulder. He was limp and hot. She was steady and cool. She looked back at the camera. "Stay on my 6, she said. They took a back passage. The walls were tight. Plaster scratch plates and packs. The mic picked up every breath. The camera shook with each step. Claire whispered to the doctor. "Count with me. 1 step. 2, 3. We will go home." A shadow fell across the floor. A fighter at the far end. His rifle swung up. Claire saw the muzzle flash a blink before the sound. She drove the doctor behind a pillar. Dust jumped off the wall next to her ear. The fight blew open. Short bursts. Mags clicked dry. Fresh mags slammed in. The corridor filled with chalk and grit. Claire took a knee. She leaned to the edge and put 2 rounds through a bare ankle. The fighter fell. She moved again. Clean angles. Clean shots. No panic. The camera caught her face. Calm. It looked like a mask. An actor's focus. A soldier's aim. Vega left, someone warned. She pivoted and fired. 1, 2. The left wall spit dust. "Push," she said. "We break through now." They moved. A door blew inward. 2 more fighters rushed in. Claire snapped a light off the ceiling. It shattered and fell in a rain of glass. The fighters flinched. Claire took the window and ended it fast. "Rourke, we need the east alley clear," she said. "Working it. Hold 30 seconds. 30 is a lifetime." Another silence. Not a pause. A decision. Claire lifted her radio. She switched to a local channel and spoke in a dialect that rolled soft and low. Not perfect. Good enough. The camera heard a woman's voice rising from her throat that was not hers. It carried grief and fear. It carried panic. It begged for help from the south gate. Boots pounded above. Men ran. They chased the voice. An operator stared at Claire. Where did you learn that? On set. On location. It still counts. She smiled without humor. Then she moved again. They reached the cistern. A round sheet of metal covered the opening. 2 men lifted. The smell of wet stone rushed up, cold and old. Claire climbed down first. She took the doctor from above and settled him against her chest. Her hand pressed over his heart. She breathed to match him. In, out, in, out. Quiet. Stay with me. The camera swung as the last man dropped into the dark. The lid slid back into place. Footsteps thundered over them. Shots cracked. The space beneath the cistern turned the sound into a drum. In the conference room, you could hear pens rolling to a stop. No one moved. Rourke, route is open. A new voice said on comms. East alley clear. Copy. Vega, surface at grid 3. Your ride is in 60 seconds. Understood, Claire said. She led them through a narrow tunnel. Water-kissed boots. The doctor's breath rasped against her collar. The tunnel bent right, then left. Then it ended at a grate. Claire pressed her fingers against it. Cold iron. Stuck. She set the doctor down and worked at the bolts. Her hands were slick now. The mic picked up her breath. It stayed even. She did not rush. She did not slow. A voice touched the net. Low. Smooth. Close. It slid under the other channels, like it rose from the stone itself. Hello, Claire. Every head in the conference room turned to the colonel. His jaw clenched. Claire went still. Only the drip of water sounded. Then another word. We see you. The camera tilted. The tunnel behind them grew darker. A small red light winked once in the black. Claire lifted her eyes to the lens. Calm. Sharp. Then she said one word. Down. The footage froze on her face. The footage resumed with a sharp crackle, the audio catching only half a second of static before clearing. The camera shook. Operators dropped flat into cold water as the tunnel filled with echoes. Shots slammed into the grate ahead, sparks lighting the dark like fireflies. Contact rear, someone yelled. Claire shoved the doctor into a shallow alcove. Her body pressed against his, shielding him. The red that still burned faintly in the dark, like a single cruel eye watching. Lights out. IR only, Claire ordered. Helmet lamps died. The tunnel drowned in black. Only the pale green glow of night vision painted the scene. The water rippled with each breath, each twitch of movement. A hiss broke the silence. Then the tunnel filled with smoke, thick and chemical, choking the space. Coughs erupted. They want us blind, Claire said. Her voice was low, steady. She pulled a small device from her chest rig. A beacon. She slammed it into the water. It pulsed once, then blinked in coded bursts. Rourke, if you can hear me, guide on the beacon. Static. The colonel in the conference room shifted in his seat. His smugness was gone, replaced with something colder. His eyes narrowed as though he recognized what was coming. The camera caught movement again. A figure slid through the smoke, silent, blade glinting. Claire reacted first. She caught the wrist, twisted, and drove her knee into the fighter's ribs. A crunch echoed. She took the knife, pressed it flat against her arm, and dragged the body into the water without a sound. Her voice whispered, "Stay low. Stay silent." The team crawled forward, water biting at their elbows. The smoke thinned for a breath, and the camera picked up the grate again. This time, it was ajar. Someone had opened it from the outside. Claire froze. Too easy. Her fingers tapped a signal on the wall. 3 taps. Stop. She leaned closer to the grate, eyes narrowing. The ground beyond was dusted with sand. Lines marked it. No, not lines. Wires. Tripwires. At least 4, woven in a crisscross. It's a funnel, she said. The operators tensed. One whispered. What now? Claire drew in a slow breath. We go where they don't expect. She pointed up. The camera tilted. Above them, a maintenance shaft climbed like a throat to the surface. Narrow. Rusted rungs disappeared into the dark. Ladders unstable, an operator muttered. Better unstable than dead, Claire replied. She slung the doctor onto her back. His weak breath rasped in her ear. She placed one boot on the first rung. It groaned. She didn't flinch. Step by step, she climbed. Her hands were iron, her face calm, her body steady even with the weight of another life pulling her down. The camera followed, shaking with effort. Water dripped from gear, echoing up the shaft. Each creak of metal sounded like it might betray them. Halfway up, a sudden roar filled the tunnel. The grate below blew inward with a fireball. Shock waves rattled the ladder. A flash of heat slapped against Claire's legs. The doctor moaned. His weight slipped. Her grip tightened. "Hold him," someone shouted from below. But Claire didn't call for help. She braced, one arm clamped around the man, the other clinging to the rung. Her knuckles split against the rust, blood mixing with grime. The ladder shook again. A fighter had spotted the shaft. Muzzle flashes lit the tunnel below. Bullets sparked against metal. Operators returned fire, trapped in the choke. Claire kept climbing. Faster now. Boots pounding on the rungs. The shaft narrowed. Her shoulders scraped steel. Sparks danced around her as rounds ricocheted. The camera caught her face again. No fear. Only that mask of absolute focus. Finally, her hand struck a hatch. She shoved. Locked. She pulled the knife she'd taken earlier. With one hard twist, she jammed it between the frame and the lock. Metal screamed. She pushed harder. The blade snapped. Her breath quickened for the first time. She slammed her palm against the hatch again and again until it budged. With a final roar, she forced it open. Cold night air rushed in. A sky full of stars spread wide and endless. She dragged the doctor out first, then hauled herself onto the roof. The others followed, panting, coughing. One by one they spilled into the open air. But as the last man emerged, a spotlight snapped on. The world flooded with white. Voices barked in a foreign tongue. Dozens. Maybe more. Claire spun, rifle rising. Her jaw tightened as the camera zoomed out. Fighters surrounded them on every side of the rooftop. The colonel's voice broke the silence of the conference room. Low. Almost a whisper. "They never told me she made it that far." The screen froze again. Claire's face filled the frame. Calm. Defiant. A soldier in every way. The footage resumed with a harsh glare of the spotlight swallowing the rooftop. Claire and her team squinted, rifles raised, breath steaming in the cold night. The doctor sagged against her side, barely conscious. Voices shouted from the edges. Dark figures closed in, weapons aimed steady. Their boots crunched gravel. The rooftop felt smaller with every step they took. "Numbers," one operator hissed. "Too many," another muttered. Claire didn't answer. Her eyes swept the perimeter. 30, maybe 40. No cover. No escape. The team shifted uneasily, waiting for her command. The fighters shouted again, this time in English. "Drop your weapons. Surrender." The colonel in the conference room leaned forward. His lips curled into a smile that wasn't amusement, but something darker. He was watching for her to break. But Claire didn't move. Instead, she turned her head slightly. Her voice, calm and cold, slipped through the comms. "Check your 6." The camera swung. At the far edge of the rooftop, a black shape rose against the floodlight. Not a fighter. A drone. Small, sleek, armed. Its lens glowed red, like a predator's eye. The fighters didn't notice it. Not yet. Claire's lips moved. Barely a whisper. "Orion, confirm target lock." A new voice came through the comms. Digital. Metallic. Confirmed. Multiple hostiles painted. Clearance. The colonel's face in the conference room drained of color. He whispered under his breath. "No, they never deployed Orion here." Claire exhaled slowly, her voice like iron. Clearance granted. The drone's rotors screamed as a dove. The rooftop erupted in chaos. Fighters shouted, weapons firing wildly. Tracer rounds lit the night. The drone spat fire. Precision shots. Men dropped one after another. "Move," Claire barked. The team surged forward, ducking under bursts of gunfire. Claire dragged the doctor with her, weaving through shadows, bullets snapping past her ears. The rooftop was chaos, smoke and sparks, men screaming in 3 different languages. But Claire moved like she had rehearsed every step. Left flank, someone yelled. She pivoted, firing controlled bursts. 3 men fell. She kept moving, dragging the doctor behind an air duct. She pressed his head low as debris rained from the drone strikes. The camera caught her face again. Calm, determined. But her eyes, sharp, calculating, held something else. She wasn't just fighting. She was leading. Rourke, rooftop compromised. Exfil Plan B, she said. Copy Plan B. East Ridge, 2 minutes. Make it 1. She looked at her team. Their faces streaked with sweat and soot. She spoke clearly. We run when I say. No hesitation. No fear. Her words cut through the chaos. The operators nodded, steadying themselves. The drone screamed again, buying them seconds. Claire rose, pulling the doctor up with her. His legs stumbled, but her arm was unyielding. Now, she shouted. They ran. Boots pounded gravel. Bullets chased them. Men fell in their path, drone fire clearing the way. The team leapt over pipes and vents, racing toward the ridge. The night air bit at their lungs. One operator staggered, hit in the side. He went down hard. Claire spun, grabbed his vest, and hauled him up with a strength that seemed impossible. Not today, she hissed. They reached the edge. A 20-foot drop yawned below. Dust swirled in the moonlight. Claire, it's a fall, one operator shouted. She looked down, then back at the doctor. His eyes glazed with pain. Then she stared straight into the camera. Her voice was steady. Better the fall than the cage. She leapt. The camera followed, catching the team as they threw themselves into the night. Bodies hit the dirt below with bone-jarring thuds. Groans filled the comms, but no one stayed down. They rolled, scrambled, kept moving. Above, the drone exploded in a fireball. The fighters had finally taken it down. The rooftop roared with flames. The team ran through dust and darkness, lungs burning. Somewhere ahead, an engine roared to life. Headlights cut through the night. A vehicle barreled toward them. The camera zoomed on Claire. Sweat streaked her face, dirt clinging to her skin, eyes burning like embers. She tightened her grip on the doctor, refusing to slow. The colonel's hands clenched in the conference room. His voice broke in a low growl. This footage was never supposed to leave the vault. The vehicle skidded to a stop in front of the team. Doors flew open. Armed men jumped out, rifles raised, not theirs. Claire froze, body shielding the doctor again. The camera cut to black. The black screen lingered, then flickered back. The camera picked up headlights blazing, dust swirling, weapons trained on Claire and her team. The doctor coughed weakly against her shoulder, too frail to stand on his own. Hands up, the men shouted in English. The operators froze, caught between exhaustion and instinct. Fingers hovered near triggers, but Claire raised her hand, palm out. Her voice cut sharp through the night. Identify yourselves. A pause. Then, from the shadows, a figure stepped forward. Not a fighter. Not militia. His uniform bore the flag they all knew. Eagle Team, he said. Extraction. You're late. Relief washed over the team, but Claire didn't relax. Her eyes stayed locked on the men, searching for betrayal. Only when the insignia shone clear under the headlights did she nod. Load the doctor, she ordered. The camera shook as they hauled the wounded man into the vehicle. Engines roared. Dust swallowed the road as they tore into the night. Claire sat in the back, cradling the doctor's head, whispering steady words in his ear. You're safe now. Breathe with me. In. Out. Stay awake. The footage cut again. This time, it jumped forward. A military base. A medical tent. Floodlights painted everything in harsh white. The camera caught Claire stepping out of the transport, her uniform torn, dirt streaking her face, blood caked on her knuckles. She looked nothing like an actress. She looked like a soldier. Doctors rushed the wounded inside. Operators dropped their gear, slumping onto crates. And Claire, calm, steady, walked straight to the debrief tent. The colonel in the conference room shifted uncomfortably as the footage rolled on. His mocking words from earlier seemed to echo against the silence now. She's just an actress. But the screen told another story. Inside the debrief, Claire stood tall before senior officers. Her report was precise, clear, every word sharpened by experience, not rehearsal. She spoke of threats, escape routes, enemy movements. Not theory, not fiction, reality. The general nodded once. Good work, Vega. Claire's eyes flickered. Just for a moment, a ghost of something human passed over her face. Relief, grief. It was gone as quickly as it came. The footage slowed, then froze. Claire's face filled the wall, smeared with dirt, streaked with sweat, her eyes unwavering. Silence hung in the conference room. The colonel's lips parted, but no sound came. The smugness was gone, replaced by the weight of what he'd just seen. The general turned to him. Still think she's just an actress? Harris didn't answer. His jaw tightened, his hands clenched into fists. He had no words. The truth was right in front of him. The screen went black. A single line of text burned across it. Footage archived. Operation Vega, success. Casualties, minimal. Assets secured. The officers sat frozen. And Claire? She remained silent at the table, her eyes scanning each of them. Her truth had finally spoken for itself. The colonel swallowed hard, his voice barely a whisper. How many more missions? Claire's lips pressed into a thin line. Her answer was colder than any footage. Enough to make you rethink every lie you've told. The projector clicked off. Darkness filled the room. The only sound was the colonel's shallow breath. And for the first time, everyone there realized she had never been pretending.